we've been talking about excess deaths here. So, like, they know how many people are supposed to die every week. They know there's a baseline. Well, ever since third quarter of 2021, we've been having what they call excess deaths, meaning way more people dying than are supposed to. And they're dying from heart disease. They're dying from liver cancer. They're dying from strokes. And nobody seems to know why, but they don't talk about, again, this should be the headline news on every newspaper. This should be the lead story in every news show. But not only is it not the lead story, not only is it not front page, it's not even talked about. I found one clip from Fox News from like a month ago where someone mentioned it tangentially, excess deaths. And so here, so now it's getting too big of a story to keep clamped down, the excess death story, right?
Right. Well, climate change is getting worse.
And so now, guess what? In the UK, they've come up with a new formula to count how many people are dying. And you'll be surprised to find out that now there are no excess deaths with this new formula. John Campbell's going to cover it a little right here.
Doesn't count if you're
in how this is worked out. So this is from the Office for National...
So this is the new formula. Do you see this? This is the new formula. This is the new formula.
Well, I'm not an expert, Jimmy. I couldn't even begin to try to
estimating excess deaths in the UK. Methodology changed.
Well, I guess
when did it change?
Fine.
It changed February 2024. Why would they change the methodology?
And
because it's getting to be too big of a problem for them to cover up. So now they have to figure out a new way to cover it up. And now what they're going to do is, we were just counting them wrong all along. Watch this. This is amazing.
Statistics site telling us how this is all worked out. So as you'll see, it's all fairly obvious and self-explanatory. So I hope you're...
Campbell being funny.
Hope you're reassured by the transparency there. To be fair, I do plan to talk to Professor Fenton about this and see what the heck is going on.
They just put those numbers...
Look, if we look at some real...
That's it. That's it. And so...
that looks like it was found on the side of a UFO in a yes. made-up story.
Examples from this. And then we'll be looking at some diseases where people are still dying in excess numbers in a minute. But if we just look at this... So what we see here is the current method. So this is
so if the method they call it the current method. I call it the old method because they're changing it. So the old method is for week 21 of 2023.
September 2023, week 21. Current method, 1,000.
There would be 1,066 people died. With the new formula, Kurt,
using hieroglyphics.
With the new formula that I just showed you, only 662 people died.
Wow.
Goes down to 600.
How convenient.
For week 24, it would have registered as 1,172. That goes down to 645.
Can I see what the old method was?
For week 32,
the old method was you just... Oh, there's jokes. But the old method was you just count these. You just count how many people died.
But I'd like to see the esoteric formula, please. I just want to see if that formula is the same length of squiggles as the one that they changed it to. If it was like at least, I just want it to be at least close to that obtuse to look
down
at.
From 427 more than usual dying to 89 less than usual dying. So
they're doing better.
Interesting that this new method is showing much lower numbers of deaths for 20.
They prosecuted Trump for doing shit like this.
Kurt, what could possibly drive a large and well-funded institution to tamper with the numbers about the human lives they are put in charge of? What could possibly? It just doesn't make any sense. If they made a mistake that led to the loss of, I don't know, say several million lives, why not just own up to admit it? It's not like you have lots of money and your own personal freedom riding on any of this. Right? It's not like you're looking at prison time or worse, is it? I mean, is it like that? I wouldn't concern myself with any ironic Twilight Zone ending lethal injection fantasies about the inevitable reward for my deeds. I would just keep showing up for work like there was nothing wrong. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, also, there are no consequences, and they're still doing that.
There are.
Because they don't even want the, like, oh, you should get canceled. They don't even want that much pain for I mean... you know, after the World War II, when the regular Germans were like, we didn't know what was going on, and they were like, fuck you.
Yeah, I know. But
that's rich how you could judge anybody now being like
this.
That's
right.
What's the number up to? Is it as high as the Holocaust? I'll bet it is.
It is.
Yeah.
23, albeit the same number of people died, it now doesn't look like the same number of people died. Week 34, current method would have given 484, now down to 144. Week 46, and I've just taken random examples here. This is week 46.
So what these numbers are here, Kurt, let me tell you. So normally it would be...
week 46, 2023.
Normally it would be 378 people dead, but with the new model, 525 people less.
Hey, we got to bomb Gaza a little bit and make up these numbers. We're supposed to... we don't have enough...
The old method would have shown 378 excess deaths. Now there's 525 deaths, less than would be expected.
Great. Now we're in the red on deaths.
Again, 407 excess deaths, down to 450, less than would be expected. I mean, this is just quite significant reductions, because I thought we had a problem here, but it looks like really we haven't.
So he just
week 51, it was 647 excess deaths. Now it's down to 260.
So he just keeps doing this.
So we've gone from a situation here where there was
taken,
647 excess deaths, more than we would expect, to actually 260, less than we would expect. So there's actually less people dying than we would expect. As I say, we do need more clarification on this. Now, what we see, actually quite interesting, these are the old and new methods. So 2020, current method would have given 84,000 excess deaths, new method 76,000. So that's a bit less.
2020, not a big deal. I wonder what changed in 2021.
2021, similar. 2022, the old method would have given 38,000, and the new method would have given slightly more, 43. But into 2023, which of course, the one that's politically sensitive now, that's gone down from, well, it's about a third of what it would have been, isn't it?
So wait, there's more to this.
What it would be. Now, interesting as well. Let's look at OECD statistics. Now, OECD statistics, in 2022, there was 52,000 deaths in the UK. So that's 52,000.
So this other agency said there was only 38, but the other agency said there was 58.
A lot more than the OECD,
or 52.
Office of National Statistics figure.
Yeah.
And the OECD for 2023, weeks 1 to 44, it's already 49,000. So way more. So at least 50,000 for the first 40.
So this agency said there were 50,000 deaths. This other one says there's only 31. And now it brings it down to 10. So now it's just like around. So now that they're doing it right in front of your face. There's more.
4 weeks. So the OECD is showing many more excess deaths than the Office for National Statistics. And
so it's the Office of National Statistics in the UK. They're the ones who are doing the fuckery with the numbers. But the other agency didn't get the memo yet.
Statistics is now showing even less deaths than it would have done in 2023. If you can control the information, of course, you control the narrative. I find this concerning. You might find it completely innocent.
So watch this.
Looking at deaths from various diseases.
So now he's going to show you these are deaths. What are these deaths from? This is from heart disease. So all this is above normal. All this is above normal.
Up to the end of 2023. So you see that there's a slight reduction, less deaths than you would expect. That's because of the delay due to Christmas. So this is ischemic heart disease. So we see that there's more ischemic heart disease. That's above the line. So anything above the line
more
is
heart
excess,
disease.
Below the line is decrease, less than we would expect. And we see that is high for...
so they haven't gotten around to fudging these numbers yet. But here's the numbers on how many people are dying from heart disease. Way above normal.
That's excess mortality. That's ischemic heart disease. So ischemic heart disease is the reduction in the blood supply through the coronary arteries to the myocardium, causing angina and myocardial infarctions. Would be the main pathologies there. This one here is for cerebrovascular disease. So that's disease of the brain like strokes. And we see again that they're mostly higher as well throughout 2022.
So they haven't gotten around to fucking with the numbers about people dying of strokes and that they're all above the baseline. Like crazy, just like heart disease. People dying from heart disease. Isn't that crazy? People are dying from strokes and heart disease at way higher numbers than normal.
You know what? Honest to God, Jimmy, I completely tune out of all the charts. And you know the sad thing? People who would dismiss and go, this is wrong, they also tune out of all the charts.
Yes.
You can sit here and show all the evidence of the thing. People that are like, I don't like that guy. He's a misinformation.
Yes. Well, he's not a real doctor.
I literally can't focus on any of this.
Okay, don't. No,
I know.
And
I'm just saying,
of course, we know that these deaths are not. The majority of these deaths are not at all COVID related. This is heart failure. Now, we just see an incredible increase in heart failure. The last time there was less heart failure deaths than we would expect was just these odd instances back in 2022. So we're getting huge amounts of heart failure.
Huge amounts.
Heart failure is where the heart is no longer able to generate sufficient cardiac output to meet the metabolic demands of the body, often with a backlog, often resulting in edema in the body or lungs. And of course, it can progress and is a terminal condition. An explanation for this would be nice. Lots of heart failure.
This isn't on the front page of the newspaper. Yeah. This isn't the lead story on any of your news shows. Anderson Cooper is not talking about this. Neither is Sean Hannity. Neither is Rachel Maddow or Chris Hayes. Nobody's talking about this.
Is for other respiratory diseases. So we see that.
So all the other respiratory diseases, it's lower than normal. But now heart disease, ischemic heart disease, heart failure, and stroke, way higher. No one's talking about it.
Actually,
and nobody even cares.
No, somebody is talking about it. About 4 years ago, when that clip you sent me with Jesse Ventura and the lady saying, yeah, they're going to do something to soft kill the useless eaters. Like a pandemic. And I remember looking at, now, if I had seen it back then, I'd like, shut up, Jesse Ventura, and crazy lady. And everything in me wanted me to do it as I watched the video while they're describing all these things that no one's talking about. Were they prophets?
Which is than we would expect. So ironically, after COVID, which was a primarily respiratory pandemic, we're seeing less other respiratory diseases and way more cardiovascular diseases. Could there be something particular generating this trend? And the other one that is concerning, this is the last one I'll do, is cirrhosis of the liver. So this is deaths from cirrhosis of the liver in England alone. Again, we see a slight decrease, but that's due to delayed reporting because this only goes to the end of 2023. But we see huge increases in the people dying of cirrhosis of the liver. Cirrhosis of the liver is basically scar tissue in the liver. What happens very often is there's an inflammatory process in the liver cells. The cells get damaged and they're replaced with scar tissue. That is cirrhosis of the liver. You end up with a small, hard, non-functional liver, and that will cause death through hepatic failure over time. So, decreases from the Office for National Statistics that sound good. Are they really good? Still lots of people dying from liver disease and cerebrovascular disease, heart disease, ischemic heart disease, heart failure. Way more people dying in the Office for Economic Development, Office for Economic Cooperation and Development Statistics, OECD stats. 52,000 people dying in the OECD stats in 2022. Only 38,000 in the Office for National Statistics numbers. So we used to trust Office for National Statistics absolutely implicitly. But these are tensions that need to be explained.
Tensions.
And we'll just finish with one further tension that really could be explained, or would like to see it explained. That's all the references for that. Check it out for yourself. Early heart disease rise to 14-year highs we've looked at already. Over 100,000 excess deaths involved in the cardiovascular conditions in England. That's just in England. Over 100,000 excess deaths just from cardiovascular disease. Normally, and there's 140,000 people deaths every year, one every 4 minutes. Horrendous number of deaths from this. 2022, over 39,000 people in England died prematurely of cardiovascular conditions, heart attacks, coronary heart disease, strokes, an average of 750 people a week, the highest total since 2008. So, who was it said there's lies, darn lies, and statistics? I don't know, but this needs a better explanation, in my view, than posting that on the website.
What? No, it doesn't.
So he's
expert.
Yeah. See, this is obviously done by really clever people, isn't it? You know, the role of us morons is just to accept whatever they say.
And be subtle and dry about it, and not too speculative.
I think the communication from the Office for National Statistics could be clearer. Make what you will of that.
Well, don't say anything you can't take back, dude.
So, well, he has to be careful. He's on YouTube. That's why he has to dance around everything.
I mean, I know. Look,
so just like we have to dance around it.
I just like I really am like really up to my gills with the people. After listening to so many people go off half-cocked about nonsense things for my whole life.
You could say the president of the United States working for a foreign country. You don't have to watch your
I know he's
like
an asset. I know he's a Russian asset.
You could say 40 babies got their heads cut off. You could say
you heard they chopped off 40 baby heads.
Assad gassed his own people.
Make up rapes.
You could just make up anything.
And the family of a woman who got killed during the fighting, an Israeli citizen, traumatize them with some fake story that their daughter was raped.
So you don't have to watch your mouth around anything except stuff that's true.
Well, stuff
again, the truth.
Except sponsors.
What we're learning is that the truth is, again, you don't get in trouble for lying. You get in trouble for telling the truth, and you're not allowed to tell the truth about stuff like this. And that's why he has to talk like that. That's why we have to talk like this. So there's your new way to count excess deaths. Hey, come see us live on tour in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Stockholm, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Berlin, Copenhagen, Oslo, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, right outside Pittsburgh, El Paso, and San Antonio, Texas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.